Man, you are one pathetic loser.
Greetings, fellow mortals. Just a reminder saying it's just my opinion is for cowards. Oh, and I'm going to be spoiling everything about this show, by the way, so just a warning. I can't exactly say that I am the biggest Scott Pilgrim fan in the world. I haven't watched the movie in like 10 years, and I think I read through a few of the volumes even before that. But the trailers for the new show caught my interest, mostly because the animation looked super faithful to the comics. Dialogue was picked out straight from the source material too. I can't say that I was a fan of the pacing. Every single interaction, joke, and line of dialogue was dragged out to take as long as possible, because God knows they have to fill time. It's like the anime trope of showing everyone's reactions for a long period of time or having flashbacks to pad out the episode. Because of all of these factors, I didn't exactly plan to watch Scott Pilgrim Takes Off the first week that it came out. It's close to the holiday season, for God's sake, and family demands attention right now. But I made an exception one evening when I saw a tweet of someone telling me that Scott Pilgrim dies in the very first episode of his own show. I honestly thought this person was trolling, trying to get a reaction out of people, but then multiple other people told me that this was true. So I watched the first episode. I found that it was very faithful up until the point that Scott got his ass kicked, and then his funeral started the exact next episode.
But why? Why would you do that? Why would you do any of that?
I was laughing so hard my wife gave me the weirdest look, and when I told her, she asked me to explain further because she could not comprehend it, and I said that they pulled a Last of Us Part 2 or a Metal Gear Solid 2. She completely understood that despite never playing those games. I refer to false advertisement in that way. You can like those games for all that I care, and I don't. But you cannot deny that both of those games outright lied to people to get them to buy them. People wanted to play as Joel, and they wanted to play as Snake. And if the games were honest about who was actually the main character, I can promise you that the sales would not have been as good. I never like this. I never like when advertisements lie to me. It does not matter if the end product is good or not. This is always an objectively bad thing. That's my exact same problem with this show. Why call it Scott Pilgrim Takes Off when it's actually Ramona Flowers versus the world, or Ramona Flowers versus her exes? Why is Scott Pilgrim in the title, and why is his face plastered over all the advertisement? Because they wanted to drive views. I probably would not have watched it no matter what if they didn't do it this exact same way. If they didn't do shock, awe, and outrage. For me, it burned a bridge, and also now I think that everyone involved in this is secretly sexist.
Put a ticket in, make a name and gay!
But love of storytelling, aren't you sexist for not liking this? This is a female main character. No, I don't have a problem with that aspect of it. I have a problem with the fact that they lied about it and they did not feel confident enough of their story to push out the truth. The only thing that I can think of is that no one involved thought that a Ramona Flowers show would sell. They did not have confidence in it. They thought little of female characters, and that is very, very lame. I have written 3 books that are out right now, and each one has a main character that is a woman, and each of those female characters are leaders in their community. I believe in these stories. I believe that these are good characters that audiences will care about, so I advertise it that way. But the people behind Scott Pilgrim Takes Off do not feel this way. They felt that they had to push Scott Pilgrim to the front in order to make people to watch this. To me, that is just as misogynistic as the trolls online saying the most hateful things possible, and they are doing that. Because you know what would have been the second option to get me to watch this? If it was so good that everyone recommended it to me, like with Arcane. Do you think that I was originally looking forward to watching a League of Legends show? No, it looked terrible, but then everyone told me that it was fantastic. Put quality first, and you can do as many female characters as you want. That's how it works. That is reality. Have faith in your writing and in female characters being in main roles, instead of just smugly looking at me and be like, see, Scott Pilgrim really did take off.
Larry, what the hell are you doing? Larry, you can't just... Oh,
Larry.
The truth probably was that Brian Lee O'Malley wanted to do a spin-off of his original concept. He wanted to focus on a female main character, but the problem was Scott Pilgrim has been finished since 2010, and it isn't the most relevant thing in the world. The American comic industry is getting punched through buildings at the moment, so he wanted to push this into Netflix, because hey, Netflix is actually in this story. But here's the thing, the only people interested in Scott Pilgrim are people who were in their teenage years or early 20s when this thing originally came out. I was, 15 when the comics came out? God, that makes me feel old. Old fans were excited to finally see an animated adaptation of this story. The creator should have given them what they wanted. Do one season fitting as much of the story in it as possible. Then leave it open to continue. The audience would clamor for more, preventing Netflix from canceling this like they do with every other animation that isn't Big Mouth. Or if Netflix does cancel it, you make the company the bad guy, like with Firefly and Fox. People still don't let that go. This could have gotten 3 seasons out of the show, and at the same time, the original creator could have pushed out this what if comic because people would be interested in it. And then when you finish the show, you can do a spin-off what if of Ramona. This is how this works. It's not that complicated. If you want to flesh out these characters, great. Just be honest about it and don't lie to people. If O'Malley did this the right way, he would have been proclaimed as a hero who stayed faithful to his original vision and expanded on it. Look, rehashing the same story that you wrote a decade ago might have been boring for everyone involved, but that's what the audience was clamoring for. If you're in a Hamilton play, you can't just randomly do your own thing that you wrote on the spot. That's not where the money is. That's not what people paid for. Just do what the audience wants. Then you get to do what you want later. Just look at what Christopher Nolan did with Batman. He did not want to do The Dark Knight Rises. That is very apparent at many points in the script. But Christopher Nolan did it anyway, so that he could do what he wanted for the rest of time. It's not that hard. Do the Scott Pilgrim adaptation and then the spin-offs, instead of lying to people. This is the 2020s. There is false information around every corner. People hate being deceived in advertisement because it happens all of the time now. If you're afraid that your idea won't sell well if you don't lie, there might be a problem either with the product or your mindset. All you're going to do is piss people off. Of course, they could be going for the hate watch views too, and I hope that works out for them. I hope that audiences don't just watch episode 1 and 2 and then stop because that they saw that everyone involved lied to them. And just to clarify so no one says that I'm putting out false information, no, Scott Pilgrim didn't actually die. Somehow he lived and he just disappeared and came back at the end of the show. So there you go, which is another pet peeve of mine. Do not kill characters and then bring them back. Don't put your characters in situations where they have to die or it makes no sense whatsoever. That breaks my immersion. It always sucks. Always. You're welcome to disagree with all this. That's fine. After all, everyone is entitled to their objectively wrong opinion.
That sign can't stop me because I can't read.
Hey, do you like stories about an interconnected world? Then consider giving my LPCO books a try. They are all connected in some way, but you can jump in at any point, unless it's a series. Then you have to start at the beginning. But I got 3 books out right now and 3 coming next year. You will not have to wait long for content. Either way, thank you. I appreciate you. Do not despair.